Lucy sold the home after a fire to a man named Kelly Kirby. He spent his free time restoring old homes. The home was purchased in 1993, despite the fire damage. During renovations, though, construction workers made a grim discovery. While checking the home's foundation for termite damage, they noticed some tree roots coming up and decided to see what was under them. Without digging for long, the men hit a layer of red bricks, and underneath them found the remains of Al and Lucy, wrapped in a Disney blanket and a black trash bag. This discovery obviously brought construction to a halt, and the mansion was abandoned soon after, with materials still strewn about the now empty building. Ironically, Philip and Margaret Lucy were arrested a few months prior to the discovery of his body for insurance fraud, investigators believing they torched the place for the $119,000 payout on a recently purchased policy. While in custody, Philip was charged with murder. Margaret was implicated in his murder, but never charged, as she needed to stay home and care for her children. She divorced Philip, but passed away not long after in 1996 from cancer. Convicted once in 1997, Philip appealed the verdict and was reconvicted in 2001. After losing his appeal, Philip Lucy hung himself in his jail cell. He maintained his innocence despite the mounting evidence against him, and was unable to cope with being wrong. The market value for this property plummeted after news of the murder, and it now belongs to Allendorf Air Force Base in Alaska, which only adds more to the mystery of the house. The beautiful home now sits empty, slowly rotting and being returned to nature. The beautiful home now sits empty, slowly rotting and being returned to nature. That's all I really had. Most of this is kind of paraphrasing from an article on the website Abandoned Alabama. The article's written by David Bullitt, and there's also a lot of photos on there. More than I really could include in this video. And I know this one's really gonna be a short Savannah.